You wanna close that door?
Nah, leave it open. There's always room for more.
Can you pass me that sage so we can cleanse this space, please?
I can't. Peace, and welcome back to the Divinity Podcast. I am your host, Divinity. So lovely to have you back here with me. I am the Pod MC. Y'all know me, Divinity. Let me stop being silly, but welcome back. We've been on a short hiatus. And in that time off, we were just trying to experience life, spend time with family and friends because it's been so long thanks to coronavirus. It's getting real. It's getting real. So we had to take a break, and we can't tell y'all to get to chill some time, spend some time with you and not do it ourselves, right? So before we get into the name or discuss the episode, I have some quick birthday shout outs I would like to do and give. So first things first, happy birthday, belated birthday to my two nieces, Brielle and Zori. Brielle turned 5, Zori turned 1. I love y'all. My princesses, they look so cute. And secondly, my nephew Cam's birthday is next week. Libra gang, hey. I love you, Cam. Lucky number 7. Happy belated birthday to my stepmom, Renee. I hope that this year around the sun has been a fruitful one. You've grown some. You've gotten to spend some time with you and become everything that you dream of. And happy belated birthday shout out to Chi. We miss you. We got to get together, talk to you, live it up, live low. You know that's the movement. Hey, shout out to my engineers. So, the name of the episode is Gang, Gang, Gang. And this is episode 3. 3Gs, gang, gang. All right, y'all, chill. So, I decided to do an episode doing the history of gang violence and the origins of it, I should say, pardon me. Because I want some unity to happen. But before we delve into that, right, I would like to introduce a term. And the term is cognitive dissonance. Okay? And the reason why I want to do this is because in recent talks and conversing with other people, I have realized that a lot of us like to suspend logic for religion. And there's nothing wrong with what you believe or who you believe in. I am all for it. Me personally, I believe that there is a higher power. I say universe. Some of you say God. Some of you say Allah, Most High, whatever deity you subscribe to. But in most recent conversing with other people, I have discovered that they will suspend all logic for religion. So cognitive dissonance is a term that I wanted to share with you. Okay? So cognitive dissonance is the reason. This is why people get upset when their beliefs are challenged. A mental conflict occurs when beliefs are contradicted by new information. This conflict activates areas of the brain involved in personal identity and emotional responses to threats, right? The brain's alarms go off when a person feels threatened on a deeply personal and emotional level, causing them to shut down and disregard any rational evidence that contradicts what they previously regarded as truth, right? So I want y'all to look up cognitive dissonance and sit with yourself and ask yourself, what have I been dismissing because it doesn't relate or it doesn't resolve with my beliefs? Because logic, God gave you a brain to think. And that's what we need to do more of. Think before we speak. Think before we react. Think before anything. Take 5 seconds and do it. So now, cognitive dissonance, I wanted to talk about that because a lot of people are under the misconception that gangs are all violence. But I'm here to tell you that right now, I see the work being done. Shout out to Rizza Islam. He's out there with the Bloods and the Crips in their neighborhood calling truces because they want to see a better future for the children, for themselves. Now, I'm just going to briefly take you through some things, right? Gang, gang, gang. I want you to understand that gangs did not start with black people, because there was a gang of people that came over to the shores of Africa and enslaved you and your ancestors. There was a gang of people that terrorized you, put on white sheets, terrorized you simply because you were living and doing the things that you have the human right to do. Now, the origin of the Crips was to protect the neighborhood. And if I'm wrong, don't belittle me, correct me. But this is just in my research. I took the time to do the things that I needed to do so I can give you the information. And if you feel like you can relay it better, then so be it. I'll listen. I'm coachable. Being coachable is important, because not everybody knows it all. Wise men know that they know nothing at all. But I digress. So, Crips were invented to protect the neighborhood. And this is right after the race riots in LA, South Central, Slauson, shout out to Nipsey, rest in peace. Race riots started happening because police, that's a whole nother gang in itself. They under that badge, which originated from slave patrol, by the way. They had people going on slave patrols to capture people who wanted to get out of slavery and run away. So anyway, police brutality was so heavy in the neighborhood, race riots started breaking out. So Crips was there to protect you, walk you home, build things, do things with the community. And a little tidbit about them was they started getting the idea from the Black Panther Party. Shout out to Huey P., my ancestor, Bobby Seale, Fred Hampton. And if you don't know who those people are, look into it. Shaka Khan was a Black Panther. Crips got emulated the roles of what was happening with the Black Panther Party, who was created to protect and serve the neighborhood. For God's sakes, the Black Panther Party invented WIC program. You ain't even know that. They took that from us too. It's still here, but they take credit for it. So somewhere in between, a little thing called the war on drugs. Drugs started overpopulating the ghetto and the hoods, the neighborhoods where people wouldn't walk across, right? So then on top of that, you had the beating of Rodney King on video, and all of those officers were acquitted. So this is no new song and dance. This is just history repeating itself. And a group of individuals was tired. So they said, you know what? We're going to formulate this gang and we're going to protect the neighborhood. Gang, gang, gang. They said, you know what? They went to a meeting after the whole Rodney King beating and race riots. They all met at the community. Now, the elders was, you know what? We should show them how they should be. Turn the other cheek. But the younger generation was like, nah, I'm tired of that. All we see is violence. And if all you see is violence, all you eat is violence, all you digest is violence, all they understand is violence, what do you think is going to happen to the person and people who are witnessing, living, breathing, and eating this? Nah, niceness is not going to cure this. And what, let me ask you this. If you can tell me a war that's been won by peace and love, except for the war with yourself. Because to me, if I read in my textbooks, all wars have been won with violence. And see, it's a difference. When they are violent to us, they come, they murder, they pillage, they rape, they brutalize, they enslave, they conquer all these different lands in the name, but they do it by violence. But if we turn around and do it, it's civil unrest. But when they do it, it's okay, because they have the badge behind it. And if, like I said, it reverts back to the original question, if you continue to see violence, if you continue to eat violence, if you continue to feel violence, if you continue to digest violence, eventually all that shit's gonna come out and it's gonna hit the ceiling. So the race riots started happening. They started fighting back so much so they called the National Guard in. So that's another war in itself. Now you got the war on drugs. So now our brothers and sisters are going against each other because now you selling drugs on that person's turf. You selling drugs on this person's lane, avenue, block. How this whole thing came about. Remember when the Bloods and Crips called it a truce? And I believe that was 1992. This was after the race riots where they said revitalize LA. Bloods and Crips fell for the propaganda again. We gonna call it a truce, homie. For sure. Shout out to Cali. We gonna call this a truce and we gonna get right for the neighborhood because we love each other. A whole year passes. Nothing was revitalized in South Central LA. You better believe they built back up Rodeo Drive though. You better believe they built up Hollywood. But here it is again. We fell for the same propaganda. And now we're angry, we're hurt, and we're turning right back against each other. Our men are going to jail. So now that leaves women to raise other children, their children. And you know what's so common amongst all these young men and women who fall into the entrapments of gangs is that they felt like they weren't loved at home. They felt like they had to go out into the streets and feel love. And how could you know what love is when your mother has 3 jobs? You're the oldest, so you got to stay home and take care of the rest of the siblings. She gives you $20 and says, here, do what you can. I got to go back to work. Daddy's gone. He's nowhere to be found. He's either dead or in jail because he was a part of the gang life. Mama's left to deal with this by herself. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking them because they did the best that they could with the best that they had. But a lot of these brothers and sisters, they're turning to gangs because they didn't feel the love at home. And as they get older, you ask them, they say, well, are you safe? Do you feel safe in the gang? Majority of the answer is, hell no, I always gotta look over my back because you don't know who's gonna catch you slipping. Run up on you with the mat. But my question to all of you is, what gang are you a part of? Is it the self gang where you so selfish? Everything has to be about you. You don't want to help people in the community. You don't even want to help your mother, your father, your sisters, let alone your children. Love is what we need too, but healing has to happen first. You have a group of individuals who for centuries have witnessed violence on violence on violence on violence. For God's sakes, these people would, we didn't even get into the KKK, huh? See, the difference is back then they would wear them white sheets and them robes. But see, guess what now? They in your neighborhood, they wear in the badge. They in the hospitals, you call them doctors and nurses. Administration, worse. They in the schools, teaching your kids. They're everywhere, you just don't see it. Because they hide, just like they hid in them white sheets. Laughing at you because you banging in the name of a color when it should be you uniting under the simple reason that you and I are Black, Latina, person of color. But we're going to get into that another episode. But right now, I want to talk about Black people. Because everywhere across the diaspora, we are treated the worst. But we love the hardest. There's healing that needs to take place. So I'm asking you, if you are part of gang, look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what can you do to help other people? I understand you loyal to the cause, right? You loyal to the cause. I get that. Nobody ever showed you what real love is. There's a lot of people like that. Hell, count me in. I didn't know what love is. I'm still learning to love. But at the end of the day, I tell you all the time, I love you enough to grow with you. I love you enough to be patient with you. Let's stop killing each other. Recognize the propaganda. Recognize real eyes. Recognize real lies. It's the same song and dance, just a different era. If we don't come together, if we don't unite, what will be left of us? It's one thing to be woke, and that's becoming a joke. Bars. Self-consciousness. It's helping yourself see the things that you didn't once see. The job of a good friend is to help you see the things that you don't see. That's why I call myself divinity. I'm positivity. I'm positively V-I-B, divinity. Cognitive dissonance. Stop suspending the logic. Get with the program, man. We all we got. And all those other differences that we have, we can set aside later. But right now, we need to join forces and love each other, heal each other, because we can't do anything for ourselves if we're killing each other. Now, this is an excerpt that I would like to play for you. Shout out to this young man who chose to leave gang life to live for his kids. He chose to leave that life so he could better himself. And I'm going to play that for you right now. We got it ready.
One thing my son told me one day was, Daddy, I said, what's up? He said, I know how you get your money. I said, how I get my money, son? He said, them dirty people come up, you give them that white stuff and they give you money. I said, is that right? So he took off and rode off on his bike. And it set me, I sat there thinking and wondering, damn, my son really out here watching me doing what I do. So if I still continue on robbing, whatever it is, he's going to do the same thing. Right then I made a choice in my life. Whether I was going to stick by them or stick by us. Us is meaning me and my neighborhood, my gang. Them meaning my kids. So I chose to stick with them. Turned around a little bit. Now I'm a coach, role model, proud parent, and I'm living.
Now, my job in all these episodes I've given you the best of me, season 1, season 2, and now we're in season 3, and my job still is to feed you. And how you digest it, that is personal. I repeat, personal. But as for me, and as for mine, it's always forward. Forward always, and trust me, and I'm G-A-N-G, Black Power in me, peace. Woo! In the kitchen with the whip it, with the stir fry. Gang, gang! Gang.